And with beautiful weather like we have today, we encourage people, man, get outside, try something new on the grill, fire up the fire pit, spend good quality time outside when it's just absolutely beautiful. So today I want to get started by putting this pizza on because we're obviously going to have to allow it time to bake. We're doing Papa Murphy's pizza. Most people are familiar with that. Love at 425 degrees, and we're at 425 degrees with this egg ready to go. For the current setup, I've got a little cornmeal on top of a pizza stone, on top of the convector that's in there. We're set up as a wood fire oven, cruising at 425 degrees. We'll let our camera get a little bit closer look at that because I'm going to explain why we have it set up that way. You can see there's a gap underneath there with these 3 spots. I'm going to show you another trick. You may or may not have those at home. We're going to get this pizza going because it's going to take, I believe it's about 12 to 14 minutes. I'm looking at my clock there. So, first question we'll get into is why do I have it set up that way? I've got it set up that way with the feet down. You can do it the other way where you'd have it feet up and a rack. Works just fine. I prefer to do this way to get that stone, a little more heat on that stone, where I can get more of a wood fire crust. The gap that you saw. So you've got those feet that I use in there. Those used to come with a Big Green Egg years ago. They now have a different option with the table nest. They don't provide the feet. The other option you can do, you can take some aluminum foil like this and wad it up and do 2 or 3 of these and then just put the stone on top of that to give you the gap. And you may be wondering, well, why do I need that anyway? To be honest, if you were cooking just one pizza, we've got the next one here is getting, we'll go on next. If you were cooking just one pizza, you could just throw that stone on there, you'll probably be fine. When we're cooking more than one pizza, the concern would be that the stone is going to get so hot that it's actually going to cook the crust before the cheese gets a chance to melt. Hopefully that makes sense. So you could just do this trick instead. If you don't have that option, cornmeal with Papa Murphy's, you don't necessarily have to. Obviously it comes on the paper, but I'm going to show you here in a minute a trick that we're actually, when you order Papa Murphy's, it comes on this paper, but we're going to remove it from this paper. You would have a hard time doing so before it's cooked to get that off of there. But after it cooks a little bit, we're going to get that off and put it right onside the stone, right on top of the stone to get kind of that wood fire crust. So you don't necessarily have to, at this stage, you don't have to have the cornmeal, but at the next stage, we're definitely going to want to have that just so it doesn't stick. I've got everything, a good pizza peel, pizza cutter. When we get done, we're going to eat outside. So that's kind of the goal there. So we're cruising along. I got this set up at 425 degrees. Just some tips about pizza or baking in general that I would say. I love to bake on the Big Green Egg. I do it all the time. We do Papa Murphy's and different types of pizza all the time. You can make your own from scratch pizza as well. But one thing I would say is very important is you want to plan ahead, especially if you're doing, if you're making pizza at home with your own made from scratch crust recipe. That's going to take time to actually make the dough. But you also want to make sure that you light the Big Green Egg or whatever grill that you're cooking the pizza on. Much like an oven, you want to make sure that you give it a chance to preheat. I want the inside of the oven to be warm, or in this case the Big Green Egg, but I also want to make sure that pizza stone is warm as well. So, and I've got our little friend here that's looking for us, just waiting for a scrap, a piece of cheese or something to drop. But I think a lot of us have those. So that's one of the biggest things I would say. Don't get in a hurry. Come out and light whatever your grill is, get that pizza stone good and hot, and then go back and sit down and just relax and make sure that the stone is. What happens is a lot of times I think if people are cooking multiple pizzas, they will notice that the second pizza is better than the first, and then by the time they get to maybe that third pizza, it's just perfect. That's just because the time that elapsed that it actually had a chance to preheat. So we've got this going in here. We'll take a peek here in just a minute, and I'm going to show you a real good trick as far as cooking Papa Murphy's pizza, how you get it off that paper and get a really good quality crust. If you have questions, put it in the comments. Again, we'll address them there. So I talked about that setup. Trying to think if there's any other things I would point out. The pizza stone. So we get a lot of questions from time to time. People will say 2 things. Number one, they'll say, do you really have to have a pizza stone? Can I not just put the pizza right on that flat surface of the convector? The answer I would say is yes, you can cook. There's so many ways you could cook pizza. You could cook pizza directly on the convector itself. 2 things I would be concerned about there. If you're cooking more than one pizza, that is the direct heat source that's hitting that convector. So it's going to get very hot. It's going to get hotter than a pizza stone would. It's going to get really hot, and you're probably, if you're cooking more than one pizza, I think you're going to start seeing that you're going to have a hard time melting the cheese before the crust is actually done. The second thing is that convector is also, you might have cooked pork shoulder, brisket, something like that the week before. If you're using your egg a lot, you're putting that convector in there when you're smoking, and you're probably going to get a taste profile in your pizza that is not actually what you desire. You want wood fire taste, you don't want rib juice or, you know, fat dripping off a brisket. That's great, but not on a pizza. Another point I would say, you want to make sure you don't have leftover drippings from steak from the last night. If you notice, this is 100% clear coming out the top of the egg. There is no smoke. I don't put smoke in there. I don't have any wood chips, wood chunks, that type of thing. If that's your thing and you want smoked pizza, go for it. That's not a profile that most people, flavor profile that most people are looking for. So you want nice clean burn so that you don't have that smoky taste, you just want that wood fire taste. Those are a couple points I would say are pretty important. We're going to go ahead and take a peek here and see if we're ready to, you want to keep the heat in as much as possible. And what I'm going to do is use this, you pretty much have to have a pizza peel to do this, but I'm going to start trying to see if I can remove, we've got a little bit of cook on this now. These are really handy. We got a little dog fight in our backyard. Everybody's tensions are a little bit high to stay at home. So you can see there, I'm able to take this, get that pizza off of the paper. Don't throw this away, because this is one of the best things about Papa Murphy's. So we do it all the time. Shut the lid. Now we're going to let that continue to cook. That heat will come back up. I don't want to throw this away because I don't want to do any dishes when we're done. We're going to take that pizza off when it's done now and put it right back on the paper. Carve it. We've got our pizza wheel and everything. We're trying to encourage people, just, you know, you have to stay home, but you don't have to stay inside. We're going to stay outside. We're going to cut the pizza and we're going to eat it. We're going to eat it right here. So, it took about 5 minutes, and I was able to get that cooked enough that I was able to get that off of there. So now we're starting to brown that crust underneath the way that we all like it. Wood fire taste. So we're going to go the extra 8 to 9 minutes and finish cooking that pizza. Stone's good and hot. The egg is good and hot. I'm trying to think if there are any other questions. We always get asked, pizza is one of those things I think that people wait a long time on a Big Green Egg before they try it. But once they try it, it's one of the best things that this thing can do. But you can bake just about anything. The pizza stone itself, we always get asked, do I have to do a Big Green Egg pizza stone? What about if I already have a pizza stone at home? What if it's a Pampered Chef pizza stone that I have? You can use any pizza stone that you want in the Big Green Egg. I always caution people, if you have a pizza stone that you want to use, as long as you're not emotionally attached to that pizza stone, if you start putting it in here and you start experimenting with recipes, a lot of these crust recipes literally call for 600 degrees, and most of the pizza stones on the market cannot withstand 600 degrees. So worst case scenario, it's going to break when you try and cook your pizza. So again, as long as you're not emotionally attached to that pizza stone, cook on it until it breaks. But the Big Green Egg stone is actually made out of the same ceramic that the Big Green Egg is made out of, which is intended to go all the way up to 2,700 degrees that it's fired at. So you're not going to break that stone, and it has a warranty if you do. That would be the only thing I would say about the different stones. But the stone is crucial. I would do a stone versus not having the stone. And then the only other thing I would say is make sure anytime that you're baking, we baked some biscuits the other morning. You just want to make sure that you don't, part of the reason why people will put foil on their convector when they're cooking things, or we have the disposable drip pans. Let me grab one. I always have one around. You take these, and actually this has, there's a scrap for the dog, that actually had a little drip in it. You can buy these. We sell these in the 5-pack for each of the size eggs. The nice thing about this is if you were doing ribs or a brisket, smoking something, put this in underneath, all your drippings hit this. It's not falling on your convector, so that when you decide to bake pizza, you're not going to taste last week's ribs. If you do get to the point where your convector is dirty, but you're like, hey, I want to cook pizzas, but man, look at all that mess on there, just do a clean burn. Fire it up, get it high temperature, put it in there, all that will burn off and scrape off, and then you're good to go. So again, we're cooking pizzas. We're doing this today anyway. We'll take another look here. I'm getting hungry. We're doing this every day at 1 o'clock. Something different every day, a different location from time to time. There's several of us are going to be doing this. So send us your ideas. And then remember, again, you can, if you see anything that you need, doesn't matter what it is, give us a call and we can bring it to you. You can go to outdoorhome.com and order it there, and we'll bring it to you or ship it to you. And then if you're not comfortable with coming in the store, we're there, but you can do curbside pickup. A lot of people are doing that. Just call, we'll bring it out to you. But all this stuff, if you want to come in and take a look and see the different options, there's so many different things we've got. Of course, there's over 200 accessories you can get for the Big Green Egg, so lots and lots of options. We're going to take another peek. Cheese is looking pretty good there. And then I want to just get a peek of the Seen wood fire. We're going to let this go just a little bit more, but I'm telling you, if you've had Papa Murphy's Pizza, we do events from time to time. We've been to Egg Fest at Outdoor Home in Nixa, and we're always somebody doing Papa Murphy's, and they don't think it's Papa Murphy's. They try it and they're like, that can't be Papa Murphy's. I cook it at home all the time. It doesn't taste like that. We never put Papa Murphy's Pizza in the oven in this house. It is so much better. It is so much better on the Big Green Egg. It takes a little more time to preheat it, but it's worth it. You get that wood fire flavor. It's just incredible. And there's no mess. We do fresh from scratch pizza from time to time. And maybe we'll even do one of those in the, we've got 30 days of this stay at home thing. So we're staying home, we're not staying inside, and we're here for all your needs. Just give us a call, come see us, curbside, whatever works for you. We're playing it safe. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this off. This is where this comes in handy. I honestly think I had this from the very first pizza ever made, so you can tell it's got some wear on it. I don't know how you get that pizza off there without this, but. So at this point in time, just pull it off, set my paper down, carve that, and we are ready to eat. And now, of course, same process. My next pizza is ready to go. These are all Papa Murphy's, as I mentioned. That was Canadian bacon and sausage. This is their herb chicken Mediterranean delight, I believe they call it. We have different tastes, obviously. So put that on there. Shut it, and we're good to go. Love it 425, as they say at Papa Murphy's. So